responsibility.
Yes.
Were you not acting under the directions of the governor?
I was acting as the acting county secretary and end of public service when we did not have that, when that position had not been filled.
You are deploying this person specifically to the office of the governor. True or not true?
That person was still in the office of the governor as an administrator to the deputy governor.
I'll make reference to one Edwin Murangeri, Kenneth Mweti Riongo, Gitobum Kanata, who are acting chief officers. Were these particular persons chief officers of substantive departments before they were deployed to act in those respective capacities?
Which one, sir?
I will refer you to pages 295 of volume 2. Are you there?
The County Assembly's document?
Yes, page 295.
Yes, I am.
Please read item number 6 on Elijah Kimathi Ntonjera. Just after the word food security, read the next.
To move from the Department of Trade, Tourism and Cooperatives to Department of Agriculture and Food Security as the acting chief officer.
As acting chief officer.
Yes.
Please also read number 3, Kobia Faith Kadure.
To move to Department of Economic Planning and ICT to perform the functions.
Now, and very last, in acting capacity again. Very last, read number 12, Kenneth Mweti Riongo. Very last.
To move from Department of Legal Affairs, Public Service Management and Administration to Department of Trade and Cooperatives to perform the functions of the chief officer trained.
In number 12, is there a reference to in acting capacity? Number 12, that's Kenneth Mweti Riongo.
No, because it's a deployment.
Is there a reference to acting capacity?
There is no, because it's a deployment.
There is no, I take that.
Yes.
Did this particular person go through the...
Council, your time is up.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Council for Governor, would you wish to re-examine?
Mr. Speaker,
Council,
sir,
how much time?
I will take 5 minutes or less.
Good.
Now, I have a few questions for you, Mr. Dickson Munene. And one of the questions is about your status in the county government. You have told this House in cross-examination that you were the county secretary or acting county secretary, or that you were holding on to more than one docket. Can you explain that in detail and the circumstances under which that happened?
Okay. When on 30th September of 2022, the governor nominated myself together with 9 others for appointment as CECs. And the list was forwarded to the Assembly. Only 3 of us were approved. And on 2nd of November 2022, when we assumed office as a CCM, Legal Affairs and Public Service Management and Administration, it effectively meant that the term of the other CCs had lapsed. And then the governor to reorganize the executive in such a way that I had to own some position in acting capacity. When we came here for the impeachment motion last year on December, there's an issue that arose that the position of the county secretary had not been properly filled. And the governor, there was a recommendation that the position of the county secretary should be properly filled. That is through advertisement and recruitment and approval by the assembly, the county assembly. So the process began, and thereafter I was given the position to act as as the acting county secretary and head of public service, while still owning my substantive position of the CCM, Legal Affairs and Public Service Management.
Okay, so it's that context that you have given this testimony?
Yes, it is.
Now, who are said to have embezzled funds from the county? Are they county officials or other citizens?
Sorry?
Who are said to have embezzled the funds? Who are claimed to have embezzled funds? In terms of designation, or is it correct to say that these are public officials who are attached to the county? Is that correct? That's allegation.
Yes.
And these are under your docket, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
So that it is in that capacity that you are giving your testimony today?
Yes, because these are officers that are under public service.
My good friend, Mr. Thiankolu, made reference to the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act and the issues of incurring expenditure prior. What is your explanation about that?
Okay, thank you. I'm referring to it.
Or let me
referred
put
to
it more directly,
yes.
Is it unlawful for a prepayment to be made? That is the submission.
It is not unlawful for a prepayment to be made,
yes,
because the regulations that he referred to, if you go to Regulation 91 of the Public Finance Management Regulations of 2015, Regulation 91, Regulation 1 states that for the purposes of this subpart, an interest is a form of cash advance, which is a prepayment, or a float which the accounting officer may authorize to be issued to officers who, in the course of duty, are required to make payments which cannot conveniently be made through the cash office of a government entity or bank account. So this is where prepayment comes in.
Okay, so that is a legal basis for prepayments.
Yes.
Who is the accounting officer or the AIE holder in the office of the governor?
I indicated there is a chief officer. Initially, there used to be a chief of staff.
Are there mechanisms of accountability in respect to those to those holders, those office holders?
Yes, there are.
Is there a distinction between IFMIS and imprest?
Yes, there is.
Just in brief summary, so that we, to the best of your understanding.
The interest is those prepayments and advances.
Yes.
IFMIS, it's actually a generated document from the IFMIS, which indicates the payments that have been made. Indicates
a payment that has been made?
Yes.
Okay. There was reference to payments that were made during the tenure of Governor Kiraitu, Honorable Kiraitu Murungi.
Yes.
Can you confirm if it's true or not that those payments were made actually on the same date? Is that something you're able to confirm?
Yes, I can confirm.
Is that the position?
It is the position.
So that the fact that a payment is made on a single day doesn't mean that that becomes an impeachable offense.
Yeah, and actually, they indicated the reasons why these payments are made on a single day is because at times the county can take 2 months or so, 3 months before the funds are released to the county. During this period, officers are sent to places. During this period, activities are going on. The county is still running. But on the basis that when these funds land to the county the account, then those people who have incurred expenses, they are going to claim those expenses, and the expenses might be paid in a day, even 5 of them, when the money is available.
So that is not irregular?
Yes, it is very regular.
Okay, we will. There was an issue I wanted to clarify about the court order. I saw the stay order, what you meant, what you understood by the stay order and what it meant.
Yes, what I meant is that after these particular officers were given letters, were sent on compulsory leave, the court order froze that letter. Those letters sending them on compulsory leave, meaning that they are entitled to their benefits and salaries as a consequence of that court order.
Okay. We can then answer the last question, which was very difficult, with its simple answer. Mr. Mudomi asked you about a worksheet, and he put you to task whether it was a photocopy or not. Do you remember that question?
Yes, I remember.
Okay. Was that document the original?
It was not the original.
So it must have been a copy.
It must have been a copy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, honorable senators, we will have 10 minutes for questions and clarifications, starting with Senator Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And my question will go to the Council for the Governor. And let me start by saying that Article 195 of the Constitution is very clear in regards to the powers of the County Assembly in regards to being able to summon for any person to appear for purposes of giving evidence or information, and Part B of that compels for the production of documents. On Volume 2, page 31 and page 32, we have letters that the CEC had been requested to be able to issue audited reports for financial year 22-23, knowing very well we are currently in financial year 23-24. And apparently, the response to the letter indicated that still, the Auditor General was in the process of auditing the financial statements, which forms part of the response that they had requested. And yet, we have already closed financial year 22 and 23. So I would like a clarification as to why the CEC Finance was not in a position to be able to submit the audited reports as required as per the PFM Act. And on the same, PFM Act Article 91 states very clearly that the County Assembly should be able to set the capping for the interest amount. Did the Assembly have the opportunity to be able to cap the amount of interest that is supposed to be used as required? Because we've seen 78 million interest, but what we have in the records as per what has been tabled is amounting to a lesser amount. So we'd want to know the levels of the amounts of the interest. And finally, because I don't think I'll get maybe another opportunity, I will be very curious to know, Mr. Speaker, finally, if today, which is a very key day for this decision for the Meru County, knowing that this is the second impeachment process, Madam Governor, being the second one, you realize that all the MCAs in the first round agreed to your impeachment. The second round, the same MCAs agreed to your impeachment. Madam Governor, knowing very well that the County Assembly are responsible for passing your budgets, how do you then plan, if you go back to the same county, how will you ensure that these same MCAs who still impeached you for the second time are still going to ensure that they pass your budget so that you can continue with the developments required in Meru, and you're going to offer the Meru people the services, quality services that they deserve? Those are my simple questions, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Council.
I didn't get that question, but there are some questions to the witness. Perhaps he can start with those.
Okay, thank you. Probably the question that was posed to me is on why the CEC Finance, what response the CEC Finance gave to the County Assembly when requested to submit the IFMIS, an extract of the IFMIS as per the letter dated 9th October 2023. And the response that the CCM Finance gave, that these are statements that the Public Finance Management Act under Section 164 makes provisions for the county treasury of the county government to prepare and submit to the Auditor General the annual financial statements in respect of county governments. And the CCM further saying that it is upon the completion of the audit that a report is submitted to the county assembly, where within 3 months after receiving the audit report, the county assembly can take appropriate action. So the audit process is ongoing. When this process finalizes, the audit report will be tabled to the assembly, and the assembly can take appropriate action on the same.
Talking of financial year
Senator
23-24.
Senator Tabitha, you certainly cannot do that. Proceed, Council.
Just answer.
Okay. I'll let the witness also answer the second question, which was on why we accounted for less than what was set out there.
Thank you. And why we accounted for only 2 million as opposed to the 78 million that has been alleged here is that the manner